welcome to our Valentine's special of Casey's Ice Cream Parlor, the Sweet Valley Twins recap podcast. I'm Paula and I'm here with Rich.
Hello.
This fortnight, so I know we're going to be a week before Valentine's Day, we're a bit early.
Yes.
But we really wanted to do this Lila's Secret Valentine book.
The best book ever made.
It is one of the best books ever made.
Like, it's the best twins book that I've read so far.
Yeah, me too.
And I didn't think, like, Ghost in the Graveyard, my previous favourite. This is, oh boy.
So we've jumped about like 80 books ahead to do this.
Yeah. And weirdly, this
changed.
book actually has a moment where it references the previous book that we read, which is really weird. But yeah, so about 80 books, so things have changed.
So it's a super edition. It says on the cover, "Where is Lila's Valentine?"
Where indeed.
And then I love this cover. It's one of my favourites. So it's got 3 hearts on a pink silk background. The top 2 hearts, we've got a heart with a picture of Elizabeth with Todd kissing her on the cheek. And then we've got Jessica and Aaron. Aaron's making bunny ears behind
Yeah,
Jessica's
he's a naughty
head.
little boy, isn't he? Yeah.
And then at the bottom, we have Lila all alone
Well,
in
she's
her
with
own heart.
she's with Gray. That's Gray there. There he is.
He's just invisible.
Can you see him?
And then on the back it says, "Caught in a lie." Lila Fowler is dreading Valentine's Day. She has no Valentine, and she's determined not to let her friends in the exclusive Unicorn Club know. So she tells everyone that she does have a boyfriend and sends herself flowers and chocolates to prove it. Her Valentine's name is Gray Williams, and he's rich, cute, and completely made up. The unicorns are totally impressed, and Lila is thrilled until her friends pressure her into bringing Gray to the Valentine's dance. How can she bring a date that doesn't exist?
How indeed.
Oh, she can't.
We need to discuss how Gray Williams is like one of the worst made up names ever. But we'll get to that as we get into this book, I guess.
I thought this was just going to be a copy of Love Letters. the
So
Sweet Valley
did
High
I.
book, but it is so much more.
Yeah, so did I. I agree. I thought exactly the same.
So we open at Boosters practice, and they're practicing a special Valentine's cheer.
Yeah, so the boosters are planning to do a cheer. It's going to cost $2 per cheer, and that money is going to go towards a photographer for the Valentine's dance.
Mm-hmm. So the cheer they're practicing says, "Give me an L, give me an O, give me a V, give me an E. What does that spell? Love, love, yay!"
Sounds good.
Tamara's really excited, but she says she doesn't like getting sweaty, though.
Well, you got to put the work in, Tamara. I'm sorry.
And we're 10 days away from Valentine's Day. Janet set them all tasks to come up with some cheers for their fundraiser.
Yeah.
So, for, like you said, for $2, they'll perform a cheer for someone's Valentine. But if you pay $4, it'll be unique and it'll be all about the recipient.
Yeah, it's like a top tier cheer.
So Janet's being really bossy. She's told them all to come up with a new cheer that will work with a variety of names. And Jessica can't wait to show hers off.
Yeah.
But guess who's in the boosters now?
We've
clearly missed something.
I couldn't believe this. When did this happen?
I know. Winston is now a member of the boosters.
I mean, Amy on the boosters, Winston on the boosters. They'll let anyone on the boosters these days.
He's come up with a cheer. Red is a rose, tulips are pink. Cover your nose, because your feet sure do stink.
Brilliant, Winston.
And Janet is absolutely disgusted.
Yeah, she tells them this is serious. They need to raise money.
She tells him sharply, "That's enough."
That's enough of that.
No nonsense from you, Winston. So Jessica performs hers. Valentine's is coming soon, and you know what to do. Send me to the moon. I love you, yay.
And Ellen is just watching this, and she's like, "What the hell is
And Jessica explains that's where the name's going to go.
Yeah.
Duh, Ellen, come on. And Janet just says, "Good try. Anyone else got anything?"
Yeah, we also get some information here as Jess explains, as you said, the person's name is going to be there, and she uses Aaron as an example.
Yeah.
And Mandy laughs and says, "Oh yes, I'm sure it's just an example," because we're told that Jess and Aaron is her quote sort of boyfriend.
which is really strange because he ends up in a gay relationship with her older brother.
With Stephen, yeah.
When in Sweet Valley Confidential.
Which we'll get to one day.
In many years' time.
Yeah.
And Kimberly Havers, she's got an absolute belter.
What?
She worked on it for 2 hours.
Yeah, oh goodness.
So she's got, give me a K, give me an E, give me an N. What does that spell? Ken, be my Valentine.
Brilliant.
Genius.
Um,
Janet tells her that it's lame.
Yeah, Janet tells her that it's lame, but she basically says, like, not only is that lame, but you'll be totally screwed if it's a long name.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't thought this through. You've used the shortest name you could find.
And Kimberly sits on the bleachers in a huff.
Yeah, she's not happy.
No, and Janet's not happy with any of them. And she orders them to work on some better ideas right now. But instead, they just chat about what to wear to the dance.
Yeah, well, priorities.
So Amy doesn't want a dress that's sissy.
No, she's still looking for her dress because she's trying to find something that's not too sissy. Which I question, what dress do you think Amy of twins, specifically twins, because obviously in high Amy's Amy, but in twins, what sort of a dress would Amy wear? I can't even imagine her wearing a dress.
A denim one.
A denim one. We get a denim mini later on.
But Lila, she has gone off into a Jessica-style daydream.
I know. We get a couple of daydreams in this book. It made me very happy.
So she's pictured the whole night perfectly. The streetlights would make eerie pools of light on the pavement outside the gym as middle schoolers arrived in droves for the dance. But Lila would be nowhere in sight. It would be getting late. People would begin to whisper, "Where is Lila Fowler? Where is she?" Suddenly, a long, dark, chauffeured limo would pull up to the gym's doors. Everyone would turn to see, but the windows would be tinted and no one would be able to see in. Then slowly the door would open. One delicate foot wearing an adorable black suede platform shoe would emerge. With any luck at all, the night would be slightly foggy, like a scene in a music video. Then Lila would put down her crystal goblet of sparkling cider and slide gracefully off of the leather seat. All the girls would gasp when they saw her beautiful, luxurious outfit. All the guys would stare transfixed. Then Jake Hamilton, who was just about the cutest guy in 7th grade, not to mention the whole school, would come around the car and take her hand. The girls in the crowd, especially the unicorns, would whimper with envy. Jake would look fantastic in black jeans and a tuxedo shirt that was open casually at the neck. An untied bow tie would be draped around the collar, just like the one Joey Martin had worn on one of Lila's favourite TV shows, 42 Wilshire Road.
Brilliant. That sounds like a good show.
A fancy tapestry vest would be buttoned up almost all the way. Then arm in arm they would sweep into the gym as everyone in the crowd wished they looked 1/10 as hot as Lila and Jake, Valentine couple of the year. So that outfit is very important later on.
It is. It is very important later on. Now, Lila is not technically with Jake Hamilton yet. He's not actually asked her yet, but she's sure he's gonna ask her because 2 things. One, he let her drink from a water fountain before her. He let her drink a water fountain before him. And secondly, he held a door open for her and a bunch of other people. Yeah. So that's the logic.
Even though other people had also gone through the door, she knew it was really just meant for her.
Yeah. Apparently everyone in school knows that they have feelings for each other. It's just a matter of time before she's asked by him.
He just sounds like a very polite little boy.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. She tells everybody that this dance is super important, and as unicorns and boosters, they have to present the right image. They're 6th graders now, and most people go to the dance in couples.
Yes, anyone who's anyone is going as a couple.
Going stag is okay for some people, but not for a unicorn.
No.
We cut to the Sixers meeting. They're also doing some fundraising.
Yeah, they're raising money just towards the dance, I think.
They're raising money for the photographer as well.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
But then apparently half of their money is going to go to the photographer. Half of it's going to go towards newspaper running costs.
The cost of running the school newspaper.
How much does it cost?
I don't know. Printer ink.
Surely the school would provide that.
I would have thought so, but apparently not.
Well, I don't know. But so Liz's idea is to print lovegrams for £1.50 a pop. Or £2. It's dollars, isn't it?
Dollars, yeah. Sorry, we're in England.
$1.50 a pop or $2.50 if people want them to be written for them.
Yeah. Guess who's going to do that?
Mr. Bowman approves of this idea, and he says Elizabeth could help people who aren't as gifted with words as she is.
Yeah. And Elizabeth is absolutely thrilled to tell Jess all about her lovegram idea when she gets back.
So after the meeting, she stays behind to wait for Jessica.
Yeah, Mr. Bowman's like, if any of you want to stay late, then you can. And of course, Liz is the only one staying late.
No, she stays with Julie.
Oh, yes. Well, Julie always hangs around with Liz, so, you know.
So she starts reading a book of love poems by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and she tells Julie that she wants to do something special for Todd, and she's looking for romantic inspiration.
Yeah.
And we're told that over the last few months, they've become a bit more than friends.
Yeah. They're, you know, they're not steady yet, but there's something going on.
Even if he did infuriating things sometimes, like rigging up a bucket of water to fall on her head, he was also really sweet and considerate.
Oh,
It sounds like
well,
it.
That's something.
So it
Like he dried her off afterwards.
Yeah.
He'd throw eggs at her, but then he'd clean it off.
And we find out that in a book that we haven't read yet,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Romeo and Two Juliets.
It is, well, it was something like that anyway.
They played Romeo and Juliet in a school play, and they had a romantic energy between them.
Yeah, so Jess and Liz both played Juliet.
Sounds like a good one.
It sounds like a good book, doesn't it?
But Elizabeth tells Julie she doesn't want to be mushy. It's like, why are you reading a book of old love poems then?
Yeah, yeah,
You seem like you want to be mushy to me.
yeah.
So Julie suggests she posts a lovegram for Todd, but apparently her own idea isn't special or private enough for her.
Yeah, she basically is like, oh, I want everyone to pay for these lovegrams that I'm going to
Not
write.
good enough for me, though.
But they're rubbish and no good for my Valentine. I want mine to be special, unlike all of these other people that are going to be paying me money.
She could get a cheer from her sister.
Yeah, she could.
But that's not good enough either, I guess.
Not even a $4. Dollars. Sorry.
$4.
We are in the UK.
We're going to say that all the way through.
I know,
aren't
I
we?
feel like it comes up a lot.
So on the walk home, Jessica tells Liz that she hopes Aaron Dallas will commission a special cheer for her. Of course, the $4 one.
Of course.
And Liz says she thinks Todd's going to do something special for her.
Yeah.
And then at dinner the next night, Elizabeth tells everybody that 35 people have signed up for lovegrams.
Yeah, and she's going to have to stay up late typing them all. Again, like early on in Liz's, early with Liz here, instantly the martyr. Oh, I have to stay up all night long to type these love letters.
Yeah. Ned asks if she has a favourite one.
Oh, my God.
And she does. And I'll read it out for you now.
Yeah.
When I find it.
The best part about this is who wrote it, but we'll get to that in a moment.
There we go. So it says, dark beauty with eyes of night, a smile like light of day. You I revere with all my might, until you say me nay. Happy Valentine's Day. She quoted solemnly, gazing off into the distance.
So, this is from Patrick Morris to Sophia Rizzo. And Alice is like, wow, I didn't know students would write such talented words.
Jessica doesn't understand the meaning of it either, so Stephen explains. He says, he said in your language it means until you say, like, get lost, okay, babe?
So everyone, basically, Ned asks Liz, what's your favourite of the lovegrams? And Liz is like, this is my favourite of the lovegrams. What do you think of it? And everyone's like, oh my God, it's so romantic. And then Liz is like, yeah, I wrote that one. So her favourite lovegram is the one she wrote.
First she says a talented member of the Sixers staff wrote it. And they're like, oh, who? And then she's like, oh, it was me.
I would have, if I was Jess, I
big
would
head.
have just rolled my eyes at that point.
And Alice is shocked, but Stephen says it sounds phony. But Jessica says he wouldn't know anything about romance. He bought his girlfriend Kathy Connors a wrench set for her birthday.
Yeah, but Stephen, by the way, another change, Kathy is Stephen's girlfriend. But Stephen argues that it was for her bike and she loved it. But Jess is just saying, like, no, she said it just to make you feel better.
And Ned's surprised that a 12-year-old boy was comfortable with the intensity of the lovegram. And Liz is like, well, he wasn't at first, but I convinced him.
Liz then confesses that she's got a lot of lovegrams written to write as it's Valentine's Day, and Stephen says Miss Smarmy will be very busy then.
But the twins are both really happy to be helping true love along. And Elizabeth says she feels like she's helping to unlock people's innermost feelings. And Stephen says, yeah, feelings of nausea.
I love Stephen and the
And then
twins
Ned
books.
starts banging his spoon against his glass to shut them the fuck up.
Yeah, oh my God, can you
It's
imagine?
like bang, bang, bang.
Just trying to have
Order.
trying to have a meal, for God's sake.
Later on, Elizabeth's on the phone to Amy and she's trying to work out what to do for Todd again. This reminded me of that time when a special Christmas, when she didn't know what to get him for Christmas.
Yeah,
And she just went on and on about it.
And then got him a wallet.
Yeah. She thought it was too extravagant.
Don't want to be too extravagant.
But yeah, she's going on again about what to do for Todd. Amy suggests a stuffed animal and Liz says, well, I want to write him something, but all that romantic stuff isn't really me. It's like, what do you mean it isn't really you? You've been fucking writing these love grams.
Also, Liz, don't ask for advice if you don't want to take any of it.
So Amy says, just write that you like him a lot and everything. That's romantic.
And Liz says, are you going to write anything for Ken? Little Ken, who might not be little now. Is 80 books on, I'm not sure. And Amy says, no, I'm just going to get him a funny card. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need to go over the top, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth absolutely needs to go over the top.
Just get a fucking card and tell him that you like him and everything, in Amy's words, and just be done with it.
Just be done with it.
Half an hour later, though, Todd phones, and she thinks that he must have sensed she was thinking about him, and maybe they're telepathically linked. So he wants to invite her to a double date with Ken and Amy
to watch the best movie ever made.
See a film called Exterminator Aliens from the Deep. That sounds amazing.
That does sound absolutely amazing.
And for some reason, that makes Liz feel extra romantic.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sounds romantic, sure. So she decides to write him a poem when they get off the phone. When she reads it back, she gasps at how romantic and emotional it sounds, and she thinks he'll be touched. I think a 12-year-old boy would run a mile.
It's pretty full on, isn't it? It's pretty full on.
So at lunch the next day, Lila's eating with the unicorns. She'd been manning the chair sign-up table all morning. She doesn't want to miss Jake when he comes to request a chair for her. It's like he's not going to do that with you sat
How
there,
awkward would it be to request a chair for someone?
I know. If he's going to do it.
By someone. Can you give yourself a chair?
If he's going to do it, he's going to wait till she's not there to ask for it.
Yeah.
And Jessica asks her if Aaron's requested one for her yet, but he sadly hasn't.
Not yet.
But then Jake approaches the table.
Oh my goodness.
Lila's heart starts pounding. Her hands are clammy. Hi, Lila, he says in his fabulous husky voice.
Oh boy. Lila can feel butterflies as he starts to talk to her.
He leans in close. He tells her he wants to order a $4 chair.
A special chair. That's the top tier of cheering.
The chair is for, drum roll please,
Dog kicker.
Dog kicker Dennis. Brooke Dennis. There's 90 books on now. She may have.
I know. I'm never going to get over it.
Never going to let it go.
No.
And Tamara had already started writing Lila's name on the order form.
She started writing it and had to cross it out.
Shit, I'll quickly cross this out.
Apparently Jessica gasps audibly.
But in true Lila style, she tells herself that she's a Fowler, a unicorn, and a booster. And she's got an image to maintain.
Yes.
So she keeps it together. And then Jake says he wants the tiara to mention Brooke's dimples, that she likes peanut butter cups.
And loves kicking dogs.
And to call her Snooky.
Yeah. This sounds like it's going to be a brilliant cheer. I really want to hear it.
We don't get to hear this.
I know. I was disappointed.
When he's gone, Lila says to the girls, "Thank God. After I dumped him last week, I thought he'd never speak to me again. I'm glad he's picking himself up and moving on.
Yeah.
Dating someone else will help him put the pieces of his life back together."
So, yeah, Jess, logically listening to this is like, Lila, why did you split up?
Yeah.
And Lila, of course, panics.
So she says, because of Gray.
Gray Williams.
She tells them that she met Gray Williams in the street last weekend.
In the street?
Yeah. His skateboard was rolling towards her and she stopped it with her foot. He's in the 8th grade. Apparently she wanted to say 9th, but she thought that wouldn't be believable
pushing
enough.
it too far.
Yeah, she thought that'd be too far. He goes to the exclusive Lovett Academy. Now, you won't know this, but I'm very impressed with the continuity here.
Oh, good. Okay, tell me.
Lovett Academy appears in Sweet Valley High.
Right.
And it's where Todd goes when his parents get rich.
I knew I'd heard it before.
School.
You've mentioned it to me before. I knew I'd read it or heard it somewhere.
It's mentioned other times as well. It's, basically the go-to posh private school.
Sure.
In Sweet Valley.
It's the San Francisco of schools.
Yeah. So I'm very impressed with that. And he's got dark wavy hair with a touch of reddish gold. His eyes are a deep green like the leaves in a forest. That makes him sound evil.
Yeah.
Janet starts clutching her chest like she's about to explode. Calm down. And Grace gushes that he sounds like a movie star. And Lila shrugs and says, yeah, I guess he does sound like a male model or something.
Lila actually has a moment where she thinks she's gone too far, but she looks around and she can see everyone, including Jessica, is just buying it. And she's like, okay, I'm
Everyone's
safe.
like losing their
thank
shit.
God. Yeah.
And Lila says the next day they'd gone for ice cream at Casey's and he'd ordered a coffee Heath Bar Crunch.
Yes. Now, apparently, as far as Janet's concerned, coffee is the most grown-up flavour.
Yeah.
So she's amazingly impressed. And apparently this is why Lila said the coffee Heath Crunch cone, because she knew that would impress
Impressive
Janet.
stuff.
Yeah.
But then he'd threatened to do something drastic if Lila didn't break up with Jake immediately. He sounds like a psycho.
Yeah.
Like what? Like beat him up, kill himself? What is he
what's he
threatening
gonna
here?
do? Yeah.
But no one finds this strange. And
No,
they
they're like,
think
this
it's
is
really
fine.
romantic.
So everyone's really impressed. And I said to you earlier before we started this podcast that the other name for this book should be Jessica Ruins Everything for Lila without actually meaning to. She literally, throughout this book, Jessica ruins Lila's life without even intending to. Normally, it's kind of intentional with Jess. Everyone in this book, the unicorns, Jessica, they're all being really lovely for most of this book, and it's causing a nightmare for Lila. Because
the unicorns are surprisingly nice and supportive of one another in this book.
they are. But
No
it doesn't.
backstabbing. I was shocked.
It just backfires on Lila every time. But of course, everyone's so impressed that Jess obviously says, "Oh, I can't wait to meet him at the dance."
Yeah.
And of course, Lila immediately panics. She hadn't thought that making up this boyfriend might have to lead to her
like 10 days
producing a
before a
boyfriend.
dance.
Yeah, exactly.
We cut to the Sixers office. Elizabeth's printed off her poem in fancy script lettering. And she's decided it'll be more romantic if it's anonymous.
Yeah, well, let's hope you are happy to live with the consequences of that throughout this book, Liz.
So she seals the envelope with a kiss and she sneaks it into Todd's locker.
Oh my goodness.
She wonders if he'll mention it at the movies later. Maybe they'll hold hands, share a drink with 2 straws. Maybe he'll even kiss her.
Yeah, apparently the thought of this makes her spine tingle.
He'll probably be too busy watching the amazing sounding film.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
I would be 100% focused on that.
So after the final bell, Todd finds the poem.
Yes, he does.
And we get to read it. So are you ready for this?
I am 100% ready for this.
This is a lot. It says, "Dear Todd, I've often wished that I could show how you pierce my heart with Cupid's bow, but we've been friends for far too long for you to buy my siren song. Oh, Todd, so deep your eyes are brown. I pray I see our friendships grown." That doesn't fucking rhyme. "I pray I see your understanding for the love my heart's commanding. On this, the feast of Valentine, please say your heart feels just like mine. With wings of air I look ahead toward a day with joys unsaid. And then I know we two won't part because I've given you my heart. With love from ?
Oh boy.
That was an intense poem.
So Todd reads this. Like he looks at it and he's like immediately thinks this must be from Liz. Then he reads all of that and he's like, but Liz doesn't write like this, so it can't be Liz. It's like, Todd, it's clearly a love poem. Like
Todd.
She doesn't always write in rhyme.
Who else in the school could create such a masterpiece? Come on.
Yeah, but I like Todd's so stupid that he can't get the concept that it's written in a different style. He's like, no, it must be written like a Sixers column, otherwise it can't be Liz.
So he immediately assumes he must have a secret admirer.
Yes, indeed.
Saturday morning at Fowler Crest, Lila decides that on Tuesday she'll just tell the unicorn she broke up with Gray.
Yeah, problem solved. She's going to start. Apparently, she's going to start planting the seeds on Monday, and then by Tuesday they'll be done.
And she says she'll just go to the dance alone. I thought that was unacceptable, Lila.
It was unacceptable, and she was the one that made a point of bringing it up.
She was.
Yeah.
The housekeeper, Mrs. Purvis, comes in and she asks Lila to put some flowers she's holding in some water. The gardener, Mr. Pratt, has hurt his back and she needs to take him home. Lila reluctantly agrees. I'm surprised she's been asked to do something by the
I was
help,
very
to be
surprised
honest.
she was asked to do something. But Mrs. Purvis seems to be like Eva in Sweet Valley High.
Yeah,
she's kind of
tough.
like a motherly figure to
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
And Lila even asks if Mr. Pratt is okay because her father told her that good employers make good employees.
Yeah, there you go.
Lila, you're not the employer here, though.
No, I guess
child.
she's like, well,
Janet, Tamara, Jess and Ellen arrive, and they, of course, assume the flowers are from Gray.
And, of course, Lila just lies and goes along with it. Mm-hmm. She could have just said at this point, no, these aren't actually from Gray.
So, cut to Todd and Liz. They're at the doghouse, which is a hot dog place in the mall, having lunch. He still hasn't mentioned the poem or tried anything romantic with her.
No, in fact, he's barely looking at her.
Yeah. She's eating a sled dog, and he's eating a French poodle.
Yeah.
These don't sound appetizing.
Mm.
So, yeah, he's been acting weird all morning, and she thinks the poem must have overwhelmed him.
Overwhelmed Todd and his brain.
He could have overwhelmed me.
Yeah, I think you're right. For a 12-year-old, it would probably overwhelm them.
Yeah. She chats about the film, and she says her favourite bit was when the aliens pretended to be trick-or-treaters to get into a sorority party.
This film sounds
I need
amazing.
to hear more about this film.
Yep.
That they should have written a book about this film.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the unicorns are babies on the other side of the mall.
Yes.
They're looking for dresses to wear to the dance.
They are indeed. And Lila can't really find anything because she's too distracted by her problem of the made-up grey. Yes, the web of lies.
Janet's found something, though. She's found a crinkled mini dress covered in sunflowers, which she says is totally hot.
Ooh.
And Jessica's picked out a cream mini dress with a floral print. So Jessica shows Lila a black velvet bodysuit with some bell-bottoms attached.
Yeah, and she says, oh, I thought this would be perfect for you. And Lila loves it.
Yeah, she thinks everyone else will be wearing dresses and only I could pull off such a dramatic outfit. But it's very expensive.
Yeah, she worries about the cost of the dress, but she looks around at her fellow unicorns who look like really impressed by it. And she's like, oh, I'll just have to pay for it.
She just pulls out Daddy's credit card.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Liz and Todd are in Book Village.
Yeah, Liz is buying a mystery novel.
Of course, it's the latest Amanda Howard mystery.
Of course.
It's Amanda Howard. She just churns these books out, doesn't she?
She does indeed.
Although that is like another book series we could name.
Yeah, maybe. I
think that's how it was back then.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was. A lot of you used to get a lot of series that were just monthly
books.
Because
you get Babysitter, Sweet Dreams, Sweet Valley.
Yeah.
But nowadays
even Goosebumps was pretty regular and stuff like that.
I think that might have been monthly as well.
Yeah.
But like nowadays you get sort of Harry Potter and things and it's like one a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much about young adult books nowadays, but they don't seem to be as
churned out as back in our day.
Yeah, they take a bit more time on them.
So Liz is at the till paying for the mystery novel, and she looks over at Todd, who is apparently pretending to look at baseball calendars. But she can tell that what he's really doing is just staring at girls.
Yeah. She's shocked and she thinks it's a good job she's so secure.
Yeah, well, we'll see how secure you are as this book continues.
So she thinks, well, I'll just let that one slide, but then outside they bump into the unicorns. He starts perving over them as well.
Yeah, apparently he starts looking at them like he'd never seen them before.
And every girl that walks past.
Yeah.
Liz brings up the dance and he looks uncomfortable and he says, oh, I've got to go home and do a thing. And then he runs away.
This is something for my mum, and then literally runs away.
But he's gone home to have a wank.
Well, we will get to that later.
Or him having what?
We'll get to something later that I was. We'll get to it. Don't worry.
Okay, that doesn't happen though.
No,
as far as we know.
it doesn't happen.
But he seems pretty horny right now.
He does seem pretty horny.
But Elizabeth thinks, well, he must be acting weird because he feels unworthy of my poem.
I love that this is where her brain goes. She's like, my poem was so good that it's blown his mind.
How can he possibly be worthy of me?
Yeah, yeah.
And she thinks he must have gone to buy me something nice so he can measure up to me, like flowers, or maybe he'll even write me a poem back.
Yeah, so now she's convinced and she's happy with herself. She's convinced herself that everything's going to be fine. When suddenly, Aaron Dallas approaches her. He wants to talk to her, but he needs to talk to her somewhere where Jessica can't see them.
She thinks this is really weird. It's like, well, not really. It's obviously about a surprise for Jessica.
Like, it's obvious what's going on.
He doesn't want to have an affair with you, Liz.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Her ego in this book, honestly.
She acts like he does, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. And it is like, it's really obvious what he's going to ask you.
Yeah.
Clearly obvious. Yeah. It's days from Valentine's. Come on.
Ugh. So at school on Monday, Lila says she spent the weekend watching TV with Gray. At least make up an interesting lie.
Yeah.
Oh, we just watched TV. Come on, like, say you went for a meal or something. And poor Ellen, she really wants Lila to fix her up with one of Gray's friends.
I feel really bad for Ellen in this book. She's like, Lila, do you think Gray's got any friends?
Yeah. And Lila actually feels bad as well.
I know. Even Lila's like, oh.
We cut to the library. Elizabeth's telling Amy all about Todd's strange behaviour. And she says now she knows how Juliet felt when she told Romeo she wanted to marry him. It's like, yeah, this is the same.
This is exactly the same as that, yeah.
And Amy says, do you want to marry Todd? And she says, good grief, no.
Wow. Yeah, apparently he's not phoned or contacted her since running away in the library. And they saw each other that morning and he barely spoke to her. So... But then, to Liz's shock, she looks up and she sees Todd, and he walks to a quiet part of the library and beckons her over. This is it. It's going to happen.
So she thinks he's going to ask her to the dance.
Yeah.
She's already practiced her response in the mirror. She's going to say...
I love this. I love that she's so sure that she practiced her saying yes in a mirror.
She's going to say, yes, Todd, I really like that. She thinks it was an enthusiastic but not phony response. It's like, it's literally phony. You've rehearsed it.
It's phony,
a phony
by
response.
definition. Yeah.
But he tells her 4 days before Valentine's Day that he wants to cool things off and see other people. Liz
cannot fucking believe it. And to be honest, neither can I. This is pretty awful. Yeah, she even says, I can't believe you're doing this, like, days before Valentine's Day. But then, so Liz thinks that her poem has gone too far and scared him off, basically, by giving him the impression that she's love mad because this poem was so crazy. But to Liz's credit, she says to him, fine, we're split up, have a good Valentine's Day, and just walks back to Amy.
And then we get Todd's dickish inner monologue.
This is unbelievable. Todd is unbelievable in this.
This is when I got really angry at Todd.
I knew it was this moment because we'd had the conversation and I was reading it and I was like, this was the moment.
I was saying to you, I'm so mad at Todd.
Yeah.
So he feels bad for upsetting her and he thinks she is pretty, but his secret admirer might be prettier.
She might not be, though.
And he thinks he should give her a chance to have a piece of him as well.
Jesus.
So, yeah, he's basically like, everyone deserves a bit of the Todd.
He sounds like Bruce.
I know.
He really sounds like Bruce here.
And then he spends all morning staring at all the girls like a lunatic, trying to work out who his admirer is.
And the thing that gets me is that he's convinced that whoever it is, they're going to be a better suit for him than Liz. And it's like, you don't know that. It could be someone you really dislike or don't go on with at all. He's like assumes it's going to be someone amazing and it's going to be better than Liz. He's
disgusting in this book.
He's awful.
I hate Todd in this book. It's going to take a few months for me to get over this, to be honest.
I don't know
if ever.
I don't know if I can get over this. I have long said that, in my opinion, Ken is the only good one in Sweet Valley, and I'm glad to say so far that continues to be true. So,
At lunchtime, Todd goes to do his hair and check for zits because it's important to look his best right now.
I just imagine this dickhead walking around school just eyeing up all the girls like, oh yeah, it's you, right? It's you, right?
He spends the rest of the day staring intensely at girls again to, quote, give them all a chance. But he thinks maybe his admirer knows that he's dating Elizabeth. So when she finds out they've split up, that won't be a problem anymore.
Yeah, he thinks by lunchtime he'll be swarmed by girls.
It's nice to refer to Elizabeth as a problem.
A problem, yeah. Yeah.
Back to the booster sign-up table, Aaron comes over to see Jessica. But she's frustrated when he doesn't order her a cheer. And it's like, again, he's not going to do it in front of you,
How shit would that be if he came up and ordered it from her?
Yeah. And then the boosters troop in and they perform a cheer for Julie.
Yeah, she gets a personalised cheer and she cannot believe it. Are you going to read it out?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, my chair is really creaky.
That's okay.
You may hear some creaks.
It's actually my chair. It's my fault.
Every time I reach for the book, my chair creaks. So the chair says, you know you are a sweetheart. I really think you're keen. I hate it when we're apart. Julie Porter, don't be mean. Be my Valentine. Yay.
I love that.
Everyone ends with yay.
I love that your Valentine's cheer. You had such little confidence that you had to put "don't be mean" in your cheer. Please don't be mean. Jess thinks, she comments to Winston, "Oh, that was really cute. I thought it was really cute." And Winston tells her he's not the only one being cute.
Yeah.
Because Todd is being cute too. He's split up with Liz.
He says it's tacky.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he thinks
tacky
the chair's tacky. Oh no,
not
sorry,
the chair. He thinks Todd's been tacky.
I think he's been more than tacky.
Tacky Todd.
But yeah, Jess cannot fucking believe it. She, I like it during this book. Jess always thinks of Todd as a bore.
Yeah,
it's like, I can't believe that bore of a boyfriend Todd split up with someone like Liz.
Yeah, and then she spots Liz sitting with Aaron, who's whispering something in her ear.
Yeah, she is briefly jealous, but then Scott joins her. So she's kind of like, oh, okay, I guess people are just trying to make her feel better, and they're just talking to her.
And she hopes that jerk Todd sees.
Yeah.
On Monday morning, Mr. Bowman's read the lovegrams, and he's a bit shocked. He says to Liz he had no idea they'd be so passionate. It's almost shocking. We
need to point out, whilst Mr. Bowman's saying all of this, according to the book, Liz is just smugly smiling like a complete
really
twat.
pleased with herself.
Yeah.
And then she goes off into a Jessica-style daydream.
I know there's a lot of daydreams in this book. Another reason I love this book.
So we've got... I'm going to read the daydream. Elizabeth pictured herself living alone in some little cottage somewhere. It had a white picket fence and a climbing rose reaching up one wall. Inside, in a small, feminine, light-filled study, Elizabeth saw herself writing her romantic poetry. A large furry cat sat at her feet, washing its paw. Various awards and glowing book reviews were framed on the walls. That's me, Elizabeth thought, somewhat sadly. I'll just be an old maid with a cat, writing my love poems to no one. Everyone will think I'm the most romantic woman alive, but they won't know that I'm a complete failure at relationships. It'll be my secret.
Two things that occurred to me from this daydream. One, even in her depressed thoughts, Liz is still a massively talented writer who's going to be like world famous for something. And two, I love the idea that she's going to end up a single old lady living with cats because Todd split up with her when she was 12.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lila's glad to get home at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
The unicorns are pestering her about Grey all day.
They've been showing an interest in her boyfriend. Yeah. How awful of them. She's
decided she has to find a real day ASAP so she can tell them that she's dumped Grey.
Yeah. Her day gets even worse, though, when she realises that it's Mrs. Purvis's day off. So she hasn't got her after-school snack prepared.
She's going to have to make it herself. I don't need this today, she thought. And she loaded a tray with cookies and an apple. Oh, the hardship.
Yeah, can we say
there's nobody here to put this food on this tray for me.
Lila's inner monologue in this book is so good.
It is. And then Jessica phones and asks her to go to the mall, and she doesn't even want to go to the mall. She's so depressed.
She just wants to stay home alone.
And then a call comes through on the other line. It's her father. He's asking her to take some steaks out of the freezer. Why is everyone ordering Lila around?
I know, and Lila's
Where are the
takes it a
slaves?
lot. Lila takes it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she's going to listen to her dad.
But when she goes back to Jessica on the other line, she lies and says, "That was Gray. I've got to go because he's coming round."
Yeah.
And then she heads out to the pool with her snack tray.
But then, suddenly, she falls and she screams, "Aye!" That's literally how it's written in the
your
book.
Lila impression.
That's my Lila impression. That's how it's written.
Her snacks go everywhere. A boy in ragged clothes rushes over and tries to help her up. "Get off me, you twit. This is a private estate," she says. You twit. He tells her he's Justin Pratt. He's the gardener's grandson.
So he's not a twit, he's a prat.
And he's and he's helping out with his grandfather while his grandfather's back gets better. She's disgusted at the leaves in his hair and the dirt on his clothes. It's like, yeah, he looks like a gardener.
He's a gardener, Lila. But then, of course, she realises what she tripped over.
A rake is lying in her path. "I could have killed myself," she cried. "How dare you leave such a dangerous object lying around? Do you know who I am? Do you know what would have happened to you if I died? My father would have killed you. He'd stick your head on a post in the middle of the lawn for everyone to see."
Imagine if that actually happened.
Oh my God. That's my favourite bit.
That's
that bit.
brilliant. "Get off me, you twit," was one of my favourite moments of this book.
So he apologises and he tries to pick up her cookies and put them back on the plate, which
Yeah,
infuriates her
"Forget
even
the
more.
Cookies.
She starts stamping her feet.
She tells him to go and get the soda that's under the
Yeah.
chair. And he kind of dutifully heads over there. And she just watches him in pure disgust.
Yeah, and then she storms off and he thinks, what a girl.
I know. He's like, oh my God, she's pretty angry, but she's so gorgeous and unlike all of the girls at Lovett Academy. It's like, yeah, because the girls at Lovett Academy probably treat you like a human being.
I doubt it. It's a snobby school.
That's true.
They're probably exactly the same as Lila.
Mm.
But we find out, that he does go to Lovett Academy on a scholarship.
Yeah.
And he admires Lila's spark, her fire, her spirit. And he thinks, Lila with the flashing eyes. And he thinks she can't possibly be the obnoxious snip of a girl that his grandfather had warned him about.
You've just
She's
had evidence of that.
fantastic.
You've literally just had evidence of that. She called you a twit.
So, cut to the Wakefields. Bruce Patman is on the phone for Elizabeth.
Liz cannot believe it. And she actually calls Jess over while on the phone. She kind of like beckons to him.
Bruce says he heard Todd Wilkins had cut her loose. And luckily for her, he's still available if she needs a date for the dance. He actually says, "This is your chance, Liz. Go for it."
I know. And then she says, she's like, I'm really not sure. And Bruce is like, "I'll give you 24 hours. It's an exclusive deal."
The clock is ticking.
He's such an asshole.
Jessica's listening in and she's giggling.
Yeah, she's
so
like
obviously
laughing
something's
into her
changed
pillow.
here.
Yeah, I know.
Because at the moment when we were reading it, she would have been devastated if Bruce had asked Liz out.
She would have wanted, I think in the books we're reading for twins, she would have wanted Bruce rather than Aaron to ask her out. Yeah, absolutely.
So something's gone down.
Yeah.
And Jessica wants Todd to know, but Liz swears her to secrecy. And Jessica thinks Todd's girl watching is disgusting.
She's right.
She is. 10 minutes later, Aaron calls.
Oh.
He doesn't want to speak to Jessica, does he?
Jessica punches the air with excitement when she hears that it's Aaron. But then Stephen says, yeah, it's actually for Liz.
Oh my God. And she hears Liz saying, "No, Aaron, I don't think that's a good idea." And
Can you
Liz...
imagine what kind of cheer he's coming up with or what love Grammy's trying to write?
Yeah.
Because she's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
Spoilers.
I want to know what it was, though.
And then Liz hands her the phone and Aaron says he's got something to ask her.
And Jess is like, oh my God, he's going to ask me. He's going to ask me.
And then he comes out with it. Will she tape Lifeguard Central for him while he's at his grandmother's house?
I want to watch Lifeguard Central. What is that?
I don't know.
Is that an actual show, guys? Maybe it is.
Yeah,
Let us know.
I don't know.
Because if it is, I will look it up. Yeah, he says he does though. He does end. She agrees because she's like, oh, I guess I still want to impress him. So yeah, sure, Aaron, I'll do that. And he does then say, "You look nice today, and your pink sweater suited you."
So then she suspiciously asks Elizabeth what he wanted with her, and Liz says he just wanted to borrow some geography notes.
Yeah, but Jess is sure that she's lying.
And she tells Liz, she says, "Did he ask you to the dance?" And Liz is like, "Don't be silly."
And then Jess is clearly upset. So Liz offers Jess to take Bruce. She's like, well, you could just take Bruce. We're identical twins, so he won't know the difference.
And then we cut to Todd.
Yeah, he's convinced.
Absolutely convinced.
100%, no doubt. It's Brooke Dennis.
Mm-hmm. Because she'd asked him to borrow 15 cents at the bus stop, and he thinks a girl doesn't just borrow money from anyone.
Yeah.
Well, she does if she wants to go on the bus.
She does if she wants to catch the bus.
But also, he bumped into her earlier, and when he'd apologised, she said no problem.
Yeah, and she gave him a look that said, quote, "I don't mind you bumping into me, Todd."
He thinks bumping into people is kind of like hugging, after all.
It's not.
No, it's not, is it?
This is absolutely not, Todd.
So he approaches Brooke and he says, "So, do you always write love notes, or am I a special case?"
I'd
bloody
love
special case, all right?
Yeah, I would love to see Brooke's face during this moment. By the way, like Brooke now at this point, she's been softened. We've come a long way from the Brooke Dennis in the book she was introduced in. I would love to have seen that Brooke Dennis be approached by Todd like this. She would have ripped him a new one.
He touches her shoulder and says, "Look, Brooke, we don't have to play games. I know you like me. I won't make you say it. Just tell me what time to pick you up."
And Brooke is actually way nicer than she needs to be here.
Yeah, he's an obnoxious jerk.
Yeah, she's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Todd, but I'm already going with Jake Hamilton."
Yeah, and he realises with horror that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the unicorns are at the mall looking for outfits again.
I can't believe how many times they keep going back to get outfits and bits of items of clothing for this dance. Like, just go once and get what you need.
You clearly have not been a teenage girl. Well, I hope you haven't.
No, I haven't.
As far as I'm aware. Yeah, that's what teenage girls are like. In fact, that's what women are like.
Yeah, fair enough.
A lot of the time. Some of us, anyway.
You know what I'm like when I go shopping. I'm like, I know what I need. I'm getting it.
You know
I'm
what
gone.
I'm like when I go shopping.
I do indeed.
Jessica's really excited because cool band Walled Temple are playing at the dance.
They're an 8th grade band.
What do you think of the name Walled Temple? I like it.
I like it. It's certainly better than West End.
It is better than West End.
It's not as good as the Droids.
It's a bit of a strange name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds like some kind of like psychedelic like
I was
trip hop
thinking,
band or something.
it is a bit like psychedelic for sure.
And they start asking about Grey again. Lila feels bad.
Yeah, Lila's like, oh, he's really tall and he's wonderful and all of that.
Then they head to Spuds and Stuffing for some food.
Well, I like
stuffing.
I like
Spuds and
that
stuffing.
Whilst there, Lila has 3 pairs of shoes and she can't decide which ones she wants to wear, so she just buys all 3.
Of course. And yeah, at Spuds and Stuffing, which is a jacket potato shop, I'm guessing. Or baked potato shop. The shop names are really good in this book.
They are fantastic. I'm getting a real clear picture of this mall and I really like it.
Me. Does it look like the mall from Mall Madness in your head?
It does, yeah.
It does to me as well. Yeah. Lila spots a cute guy in the queue. So she starts flipping her hair and she actually winks at him.
Yeah.
Cheeky. And then when she sits down and tucks into her curly fries, he comes over and he asks her out in front of everyone.
I absolutely loved this moment. This made me laugh out loud. So Lila sees this guy and she's like, he's perfect. This will be perfect. This will be fine. This will work out great. And he comes over. He actually asks her out and she's like, oh my God, a real boyfriend to get me out of this mess. Like, I'm saved because I could say this guy's even cuter than Grey. So I can get rid of Grey. He comes over and Jess ruins it completely. He comes up, he asks her out, and Jess says, Lila's already got a date. And then Janet gets involved and basically just tells him to fuck off.
They are genuinely trying to help, though.
They are, I know, but obviously from Lila's perspective, she thinks she's been saved, and it's like, oh no.
And then we cut to Wednesday. Melissa's ordered a lovegram, but she thinks that what Liz has written is a little bit over the top.
Maybe.
But Liz won't listen to her, and she gets really pushy.
She pressures her into just accepting this drivel that she's written.
And she's all the time she's feeling smug about being so helpful.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lila's on the way to school in her father's limo. It's time for her breakup with Gray.
Yes, apparently earlier this morning she looked at herself in the mirror and was pleased that she looked so awful.
Yeah, she's put pale powder all over her face, and she's brought.
You're meant to look like you've been split up with, not that you're dead.
And the best thing is, she's brought a bag of onions to school in her bag.
I love the idea of this.
And then when she gets to school, she takes them out and she inhales inside the bag, so her eyes water. And she walks around with the onions in her bag all day.
Oh God!
And
can you imagine?
She thinks, "Oh, I hope nobody will smell them." So they probably will.
Yeah, you probably stink of onion right now.
As far as the unicorns wanted you around them.
She's like going up to them like, Grace split up with me, and they're probably like, Lila, you stink. That's probably why.
And when she does see the unicorns, they tell her how awful she looks. It's like, thanks.
Yeah.
But she says she broke up with Gray. And when they ask why, she realises she's forgotten to come up with a reason.
Yeah, I love that she's gone to all this effort but hasn't considered.
Lila would not come up with such a shoddy plan.
No.
I don't believe it. So she makes up something on the spot. She tells them that she forgot his birthday.
Yeah,
that is a shit lie.
Yeah, it's a crap lie.
And then we cut to Todd in science. He's now sure that Maria Slater is his admirer, because she smiled at him and she passed him a Bunsen burner.
That means she is madly in love with him.
Mm-hmm. He thinks she's probably been struggling with her feelings for a long time because she's Elizabeth's friend. And he hopes it won't ruin their friendship, but he thinks they'll just have to work out between themselves. I hope Liz doesn't fight for me. What a fucking jerk.
So, in the middle of chemistry, he shouts across the class to her, "Hey, Maria!" And she just looks back, she's like, they're all wearing their goggles and stuff. It's really awkward. And she just looks up, she's like, "Hey, Todd." And then there's just this awkward silence where she's waiting for him to say something.
But then he does go over to her because he notices the figures that she's written down for the experiment they're doing aren't the same as his.
Yeah.
And he thinks, oh, she's probably got them wrong because she's so distracted by me.
Of course.
It's like, don't consider that your figures might be wrong.
No.
Got the fucking arrogance.
I know. I can't believe him in this book. I really can't.
And he says to her, "Look, I feel the same way. If you want to go to the dance with me, that's cool." Wrong again, jerk.
Yeah, she's like not getting this at all. And he's like, the note.
And yeah, she says she already has a date.
Yeah. And Todd feels like an idiot, which he should.
After school, Lila spots the unicorns huddled around a large white box.
Yeah, she approaches and she asks what's in the box, and they're quite cagey. She's like, "Oh, nothing. And Lila says, "Look, I've had a really hard day, and, I've had enough without my friends turning against me." So they show her.
Yeah.
They were being really lovely.
They've got a birthday cake for Gray. And they were going to hand deliver it to Lovett Academy and tell them that it's from Lila.
And Lila,
get them back together.
Obviously, Lila cannot believe it.
It's actually a nice scheme.
It's lovely. It's maybe the only nice scheme the unicorns have ever done.
They're really nice in this book.
I know. Maybe things mellow out with the unicorns
yeah.
later on. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because it's Valentine's week.
Yeah, maybe they're just in the spirit. Yeah.
So Lila panics and she says, "Well, actually, me and Gray have already made up, so we should all just go back to my house and eat the cake ourselves."
Yeah, I love the idea that she's like, "Well, we won't give him it anyway. We'll just eat it
It
ourselves."
still was his birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all go back and eat a Friday
and they all celebrate. They're all happy that Lila's back with Gray.
But Jessica does have a question.
Yes, she does.
When did Lila make up with Gray? Because they've been in school all day.
And Lila freezes and everyone stops and looks at her. But then she remembers. she was taken out of class during 7th period.
Mm-hmm.
So she makes out that was Gray, who paged the school and got the school to take her out of class so that he could get back with her, which sounds exactly something that a school would do. Can you imagine if your school got a page from your boyfriend to be like, oh, hey, can you go and take Paula out of class so that she can make up with me?
But yeah, they all think that's incredibly romantic.
Oh, yeah.
When they're gone, Lila thinks her life has turned to mud.
Oh, no.
And then she sees that annoying, quote, green-eyed Jasper person.
Jasper. What do you want?
He's staring at her from behind a hedge. She snaps at him to go away, and then she storms angrily into the house, slamming the door. And then she thinks to herself, this is my favourite bit. She thinks to herself, peasant, how dare he?
Now, I have made peasant jokes for many books.
Yeah,
now.
I know.
And I can't believe she actually said it in this book.
I know. Oh my God. The next day at school, Caroline tells Todd she's been looking for him
all week. And I love this. Todd,
I know,
panics and he's like, oh, please don't be her. Please don't be her. Please,
it says
no.
a chill crept up the back of his neck. But it turns out she just wants to get the gossip about him and Liz. Though.
Yeah, which was much more likely to be the situation.
And she also wants to tell him that Bruce had asked Liz to the dance.
Yeah, and Todd becomes furious about this.
Yeah, he starts clenching his fists and he says Elizabeth would never go with that stuck-up jerk.
And then Caroline just is like, okay, you don't have any information, bye.
Yeah. And Todd thinks if Elizabeth goes with Bruce, he'd go to bed and stay there for a month with the covers pulled over his head. Oh yeah, that'll show them both,
That'll
Todd.
show them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Liz. She's busy making more people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, this time is Mandy, isn't it? Mandy Miller.
Mandy Miller. Her lovegram to Peter Jeffries says, be forever a hero mine. Does that make sense?
I don't think it
Must
makes...
be old language.
Yeah, maybe.
Not too
Maybe us
knowledgeable on.
illiterate English people don't.
But she tells Liz, Mandy says, look, we're not even going out together yet. But Liz says, it makes it sound like Peter is your knight and that you're a medieval princess.
Yeah. And then she starts going on about, like, oh, you know, maybe we should change it to be about Cupid and roses. And Mandy's like, I'm 12.
Yeah.
I just want him to think I'm nice.
She says he's just a nice guy in my English class.
Yeah.
So Randy Mason comes over and takes over the sale.
Can we point out as well, she's paying for this.
I know. Let her have what she wants.
She's actually paying for this. Just do what she wants.
And when she's gone, Randy tells Liz that people just aren't comfortable with all this mushiness.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm just trying to help people.
Yeah, so he tells her that sometimes she seems to want other people to have the feelings that she has, but that's not always the case. That sums Liz up so well that she just projects everything from herself onto other people.
But she goes off to eat lunch with Aaron and Ken.
Yes.
She's getting around, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
And apparently the guys have been all over her and the unicorns have noticed this.
Yes, Belinda points it out to Jess.
3 guys have asked Liz to the dance and she said no to all of them.
Yeah.
So Jessica concludes that she must be going with Aaron.
Jessica is sure she knows why. Yeah.
Lila's also miserable after she yelled at the peasant yesterday. She'd gone to her room and she watched him through the window.
Just so imagine her just seething, staring at him while he's working.
It says he'd been raking leaves and she'd noticed that he was tall and strong. For some reason, this made her even more irritated.
Oh, I hate these healthy.
She decides to come clean to everybody about the lie with Gray.
Yeah.
But she's interrupted by Janet, who's got some gossip. Sarah Thomas has lied about her boyfriend's age. She said he was 14, but he's actually 12.
Oh my God.
And then they all go on about how pathetic this is.
Yeah, Jess is like, that's a stupid thing to lie about because you could so easily get caught out. And Tamara's like, it's kind of pathetic to lie like that.
And they say, at least us unicorns are way too cool to lie.
Yeah,
so
and then so they have this conversation in front of Lila, and then Janet turns around and she's like, what were you going to say, Lila?
Yeah.
And Lila's like, oh, nothing. Nothing.
And then we're at the day before the dance. Time's ticking down. And Todd is still trying to work out who wrote the poem. He's also noticed that guys are all over Liz, but he thinks, fine, I won't want her to feel lonely. And then he spots Sophia Rizzo smiling at him. And he thinks, is she the one?
She's the one. Here it is.
And then he feels annoyed that she's kept him in suspense for so long, but thinks, oh well, she's crazy about me, so it wouldn't kill me to be nice to her. Yeah. And then he realises she was actually smiling at Patrick Morris.
Yeah, he brushes past him. Yeah.
And they head off together hand in hand.
They head off to Casey's.
Gutted.
And Todd is left in the hallway on his own.
Feeling like a fucking prick.
Yeah, well he is, so.
After school, Elizabeth tells Alice that she might give the dance a miss.
Yes, and Jess angrily says that she won't be going because Aaron is clearly going with someone else.
And she calls Liz boyfriend stealer. And then she stomps upstairs and she calls Mandy to rant about Liz and Aaron.
Yeah, she
is furious.
Absolutely furious.
She says the dirty, stinking rat deserves to be exposed in the cafeteria tomorrow.
Oh my God.
And to make things worse, she's going to wear her denim miniskirt, so he'll be extra sorry.
Yeah, apparently it's her best outfit. She asked Mandy, what do you think my best outfit is? She's like, oh, yeah,
What's
the
my
denim
best
mini.
outfit to humiliate somebody in front of the whole school?
Yeah.
Definitely the denim mini. And then we cut to Lila. Lila is sat in her formal English rose garden.
Oh.
On a bench crying.
Must have a good gardener to maintain that.
Yeah, she had to walk through the fruit orchard to get there, apparently.
Oh, it's such a tough life.
And she thinks that she must leave town and join the witness relocation program. She'll dye her hair, get coloured contacts, and start all over again.
Oh my God.
So Justin comes over and he's concerned.
Yeah, he he comes over concerned. She just turns around. It's like, go plant something. And he's like, she's like, oh, just go away, Jason or Judith or John,
Jasper,
Philip, Randy, Ronald. But Justin takes it pretty well, and he's like, just tell me what's wrong. And he's like, look, I'm not one of your friends. You can tell me anything. I don't even know your friends. And so Lila does finally break down, and she tells Justin everything.
Yeah.
And she does actually find out that Justin is his name, and she actually even says Justin, right? Like she's clicked now what his actual name is.
So he's got an idea. And he's about to tell her what it is, but then Mrs. Purvis calls him to look at her pea plants.
He could have said very briefly, but yeah, he runs away.
Well, Miss Purvis is very insistent, apparently.
Apparently so.
We get to Friday morning, and Mr. Bowman tells Liz that a student has told him that she wasn't comfortable with her lovegram, and she thinks she was pressured into sending one that was a bit more romantic than she intended.
We read this book, and we know for a fact she did pressure this person.
Liz is mortified when Mr. Bowman tells her not to be so pushy.
Yeah. This might be the only time we've seen someone actually tell Liz and put her in her place.
In maths class, Mrs. Weiler is off with appendicitis, and Lila thinks, I wish I could get appendicitis.
Yeah. But then, of course, it hits her. The perfect idea. Maybe she could have appendicitis.
Yeah, she can fake it. So we get to lunchtime in the cafeteria. The boosters are getting ready to perform the final cheerograms. And Jess is miserable about Liz and Aaron.
Yeah.
Tamara and Janet, though, are exchanging knowing glances.
Oh, boy.
But Jessica decides right after the cheers, she's going to march over to Aaron and tell him off. And then she's going to throw a spice cake in Elizabeth's face.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
The boosters launch into the final cheers, and I have some of them here.
Yes, Maria and Bruce, I think.
It's Maria and Tim. Bruce wouldn't send
There's a one for Bruce afterwards, I think.
Yeah. So this one is from Tim to Maria. It says, Valentine's is here again. My love is here to stay. Maria Slater is my best friend forever and a day.
Oh, that's cute. That's a good one. That's better than a lovegram, isn't it? That's just really cute and nice. I like that.
And then it says here, Aaron's surrounded by a bunch of his friends, laughing and joking around. You won't be laughing much longer, you two-timer, Jessica thought angrily. I remember in the 90s, everyone used to use the phrase two-timer.
Two-timer, yeah, that was a thing.
Then the next cheer says, Bruce, you're my ideal. No other boy compares. If you believe my love is real, meet me behind the stairs.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah? What are you going to do then? And it says, from Anonymous, see you at 3:30. And guess who sent it?
I don't actually have that noted
my
down.
God.
Who did send it?
I can't believe who sent this. Caroline Pierce.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
No wonder she wasn't after Todd.
Yeah.
So, it's time for Lila to put her plan into motion.
This is your favourite part.
This is my favourite part.
We were talking about our favourite parts this morning. And,
I laughed out loud a couple of times while reading this bit.
Yeah.
So, whilst everyone stood around, she starts holding her sides.
Lila, this is.
Lila, and going, oh. And literally no one is paying attention to her. As Janet starts telling the crowd how much money they've made, and everyone starts cheering. So again, Lila is like, oh.
And she walks right into the middle of the cafeteria as well.
Yeah, she's right now. She's like right in the center of the cafeteria, like And then she's like, right, we're gonna count to 3, and then I'm just gonna collapse. I'm just gonna face plant the floor. Mm-hmm. But just as she does it again, not meaning to, Jess ruins everything.
Yeah. Jessica starts marching towards Aaron, but then the boosters launch into one final cheer.
She actually manages to shout, Aaron, I've got something to say to you, just as they get in the way. And
then this is the cheer. Oh, Jessica, you make my heart beat fast. You've always been the twin for me, from first until the last. I love the way you chew your gum right in our science class. Around you I am never glum, not even when you sass. Your long blonde hair is like the sun, your eyes are like the sky. With you I have terrific fun, I'd never make you cry. You take a joke just like a boy, you look just like a girl. I'll follow you to Illinois or all around the world. I can't compete with Johnny Buck, he sure gives me a blister.
Oh, yeah.
and now I find with just my luck, you think I like your sister. But Jessica, you must believe there is no other one. I'd like to take you out tonight in order to have fun. Please say you'll be my date tonight, I'll bring you one red rose. There's no way I'll be late tonight or step up on your toes. Be my Valentine, Jessica. Love, Aaron. That is really good, actually.
It is really good. I was just thinking, what cheer do you think he gets Stephen later on, 30 years later?
So, of course, Jessica tells him she would love to go to the dance with him. But he got that bloody fine, didn't he?
I mean, so close that... I mean, it's literally like the day before now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The day before Valentine's.
She could have found another date by now.
I know. Especially someone in the unicorns, because they're all about image. It's like, I have to have someone.
So Lila assumes her fake appendicitis.
Yeah, well, she was about to faceplant and she's decided not to because she was curious what was going to happen.
And she thinks she could be dying and nobody would notice.
Oh.
And then she moans, everything's gone black.
I think I have a fever.
But then she just gives up and thinks her career as a unicorn is over. I can just imagine her just being like, oh, everything's gone black. Ah, fuck it.
Yeah, whatever. And just walk away.
Yeah, walk away completely normally. And then we cut to Jessica getting ready for the dance. So, of course, it turned out that Liz was helping Aaron to plan the cheer all along.
Yes, Jess asks for forgiveness from
surprise.
Liz, and Liz, of course, grants it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jess says, Liz, when are you going to start getting ready? But Liz, of course, says she's not going to go.
But Jessica convinces her to come as a third wheel with her and Aaron for the night.
Yeah, she says, you don't need Todd to have fun. And I also Jess also says that the dance wouldn't be any fun without her, which is not true. It's not true at all. So
prick Todd is sulking in his room. And he decides that maybe his admirer needs the security of a crowd to reveal her identity. And then he's like, oh, I know. She must be waiting until the dance. She must be waiting until the dance to ask you to the dance.
Who would do that?
Yeah. Well, while they're at the dance, will you go to the dance with me? Like, no, that's not...
No, because I'm already here on my own.
But then he actually thinks straight for the first goddamn time in this whole book. And he thinks, yeah, I'm just kidding myself.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's like,
Todd,
I've made a twat of myself
are.
3 times now.
And he decides that he wants Elizabeth after all.
So this is the point I was going to bring up. This is a quote. So
Oh, yeah.
he thinks about Liz and how no one could hold a candle to Liz. And he thinks that he, quote, threw her away like used Kleenex.
Oh.
There is literally no context in which that's not gross. Not any context.
So, yeah, he thinks he's going to go and beg for her forgiveness.
And he should, after the way he's treated her. And he should probably apologise to every girl he's met in the last week while he's at it.
Every girl he's been anywhere near.
Yeah.
At Lila's house, she's faking illness to Mrs. Purvis. She's got a thermometer and she's pressed it against a light bulb.
I love this. Mrs.
Wouldn't
Purvis.
that shatter?
I know. And Mrs. Purvis comes back in and she like takes her temperature and she's like, your temperature is like 1,000,000 degrees.
Yeah.
Your brain should have exploded.
She says, you need
now.
to get to the hospital. I think Mrs. Purvis
She
is
knows.
onto her. She knows.
She knows full well.
Because she's like, oh no, you might have the plague. And then her father appears in the doorway, posing dramatically. Now he's got the outfit of the book.
He does indeed.
He's wearing a black tuxedo, a pink cummerbund covered in hearts, and a pink bow tie.
It sounds really good.
He's a chaperone for the dance. And also Fowler Enterprises are catering, and there's going to be 7 different kinds of cookies.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. It does sound amazing. And of course, this is Sweet Valley Twins. This is before Mr. Collins is around to be the chaperone for absolutely everyone.
In fact,
So,
Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, I know. What about Mr.
He's like their
Bowman?
equivalent of Mr. Collins, isn't he?
Yeah.
Apart from he's not got the good dress sense of Mr. Collins.
Or George Fowler. Because this is a hell of an outfit.
It is. So George tells Lila that she has to come, and he'll tell Richard to fire up the limo.
Fire up the limo.
Fire up the limo, Richard. So she puts her bell bottoms and her bodysuit on, and she thinks, well, at least I look fantastic.
Yeah, she has that moment again where she looks in the mirror and she's like, I'm a Fowler and Fowlers never give up. She also thinks she's got a few aces up her sleeve that she can play.
Mm-hmm. So at the dance, the unicorns are excited about meeting Grey, and they're drooling all over Walled Temple when Lila arrives alone.
Yeah, before that, they're discussing Grey and Jess says, I bet he's at least 17. Totally ancient.
She's already told them he's in 8th grade.
I know.
And then she tells them that Grey's stuck in traffic. No, sorry, not in traffic. He's stuck in San Diego, but he's at the airport now and he's chartering a private plane for himself.
Of course.
Bruce has come alone, but he's still obnoxious.
Yeah.
He gets the photographer to take a solo picture of him and he sneers, which lucky girl wants this picture?
Yeah, and Ken shouts back, your mother, probably. Imagine little Ken saying that.
And then Melissa admits to Liz that she was the snitch.
Worse than that.
Oh, I hate this bit. It really annoys me.
She apologises to Liz.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't make what Liz did right. So basically, it worked out okay in the end.
Yeah, because her date liked the poem.
Yeah, he liked the poem. But that doesn't make it okay. Liz still pressured her into doing something she didn't want to do.
And she's like, oh, you're so great, Liz. You're amazing. I'm so thankful to you. And Liz is just smug again. And then she spots Todd standing alone with a bouquet of flowers and a box of chocolates.
Oh my.
And she wonders where his date is.
Yeah.
But then she goes off to dance with Ken and she forgets about him.
Yes, Todd starts heading towards Liz. And as soon as he approaches, Ken asks Liz to dance.
Yeah.
And she accepts.
Todd noticed how pretty Liz looks and he's decided she's the girl that I want. Back to Lila and the unicorns. She's pretended that Grey is there.
Yeah. She's like, oh, he's just outside doing something.
Yeah, she says he's gone off to call his parents. And then meanwhile, Todd cuts in on Liz and Ken. He gives Liz the flowers and the chocolates, and she says, I'm not interested in presents he bought for another girl.
Which, fair enough, right?
Yes.
Fair enough.
At this point, I was like, yeah, you go, Liz. You know, don't let this guy off.
Yeah, I agree.
But But he says there's no one else. I even bought 2 boxes of chocolates so that I could replace all of the strawberry creams you hate with the nut ones that you like. If I wasn't so goddamn mad at Todd, that would be really sweet.
It would be really sweet, but I've read the rest of this book.
I'm so fucking mad at him.
Yeah, I know.
I
don't care.
You jerk.
Yeah.
But of course, she forgives him.
Yeah.
And they slow down. So I was disappointed in her.
I was disappointed in her for this because she thinks to herself as well. She's like, I wonder how long I should punish him for. And then she immediately lets it go and starts dancing with it.
Half an hour later, the unicorns are getting impatient with Lila. She's now told them that her and Gray have gone to take a romantic walk around the football field.
But Jess has a plan.
Yeah. She thinks we should do something special for the couple because they've had such a hard week.
Yeah.
So this plan involves Walled Temple.
The band that everyone loves. 8th grade band.
But before we find out what it is, we cut back to Liz and Todd.
Yeah, so whilst dancing, Liz recites some of her wonderful poem.
Oh my God.
And of course it finally dawns on Todd that it was Liz the whole time. And it's so obviously written on his face, and I think he actually even says, it was you, that basically the gig's up.
And she realises what's happened as well. But she forgives him again.
I can't see,
damn it.
even if you forgave him the first time around, you definitely wouldn't forgive him at this point.
No.
You'd be like, right, so basically, because you thought there was another girl, you instantly, without even knowing who that was, you ditched me for someone sight unseen.
I know. Oh,
that you don't even know.
No.
I wish it was Caroline now.
I wish that she'd just be like, piss
Go
off,
away.
Todd.
Yeah.
So with only 25 minutes left of the dance, Lila thinks she's pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have 20 minutes left. It's like you've done well to pull it off for this long.
But then the lead singer of Walled Temple makes an announcement.
Oh my goodness.
But first, he asks them all to buy their new CD. It's called Only in My Sneakers Dreams.
I want to hear that CD.
He also wants to announce the couple of the year in recognition of romance, devotion, and triumph over adversity.
Adversity.
It's like you've been seeing each other a week.
Also, triumph in the face of adversity. From their perspective, this is 2 rich fucks. Like, 2 rich white people.
Oh my God.
What adversity have they had to
it's
overcome?
Lila and Gray.
It's Lila and Gray, and Lila is just frozen on the spot.
Yeah, he calls them to the floor for a special dance, and she's fucked.
She's screwed.
The girls realise that she lied, and Janet is furious.
Janet loses her mind. Jess is actually quite nice. Jess is like, I feel terrible for her.
Yeah, Jess says we can't let a unicorn be humiliated.
Yeah.
And sisterhood happens. Janet agrees. The unicorn image is on the line. So they form a human shield around Lila.
It's like security.
Yeah.
It's like the president. And they escort her out.
They prepare to escort her through the crowd.
Amazing.
The jeering crowd. But suddenly, a tall guy with wavy chestnut hair and green eyes, wearing black jeans, a tuxedo shirt, a tapestry vest, and an untied bow tie dangling around his neck. Sound familiar?
Oh.
What is a tapestry vest?
I don't know, but I want one.
He pushes his way through the crowd towards her. Who are you? Janet demanded.
I love, do you know, Janet is horrible, but I do kind of love her. In the same way that when Lila's horrible, I kind of love it. He
says, well, I'm Gray Williams, of course. Didn't Lila tell you about me?
And Lila's just stood there with her mouth open like, what?
And then he grabs Lila for a slow dance. And of course, we all know who it's going to be.
Of course.
It's the peasant to the rescue.
Now, I was disappointed in him for actually doing, it's like, this is a really romantic, nice thing. But it is like, she's treated you like absolute shit.
But he's in love.
He is in love. You made a good point earlier, though.
Yeah, why is he so goddamn late?
How did he think it was going to work? 20 minutes before the end, you might as well have not bothered.
I know.
Do you think he was watching the whole time? He's like, well, she did treat me bad, so I'm going to let her sweat until the last second. So he tells her as they're dancing that from now on, maybe she won't have to just pretend that she's got a boyfriend. And she's like, well,
I bet we never see this.
I was going to say,
again.
You're going to have to come into some serious money if you want this relationship to continue past today.
Yeah. She'd never go out with the grandson of the help, would she?
What is made clear in Lila's story that George wouldn't stand for it. George will only have her get with someone with money.
Yeah. And after the dance, Todd and Liz are sat on a bench outside and they agree they're glad Valentine's is over. And he gives her a little kiss.
He should have done a connect the dots to make up for that.
Jessica and Aaron are also sharing a romantic moment outside. He says he meant every word of the cheer, and he might even get her name tattooed on his arm. And then it says, she makes a ladylike gagging sound. How do you make a ladylike gagging sound?
I don't know. How do you mournfully unwrap a popsicle? These are questions we have. We should make a list of questions that we have going forward.
What is a tapestry vest? How do you mournfully open a popsicle? How do you ladylike gag?
Yeah. So do you think in the future, Aaron's got like Jessica and Stephen tattooed on his arm?
And then, of course, we finish with Lila and Gray in the limo. They're wondering how they're going to get around the fact that all of her friends think he's called Gray.
Yeah, it is a problem. It's definitely a problem.
So are we actually going to see this guy again?
I don't know. We're going to have to read like 80 books.
Can somebody tell us? Because we've got about 3 years before we find this out. So.
I was thinking about that actually. Do you think when we get to Sweet Valley Confidential, it will actually be 30 years later for us?
Yeah, probably.
Like it might actually be 30 years later.
I don't like to think about it, to be honest. It freaks me out. It's too. I don't like to think about it. So, she says to him, "Happy Valentine's Day, Justin Gray Williams Pratt." And then he kisses her on the cheek.
Aww.
The end.
I mean, it is a sweet ending with him turning up and stuff.
Yeah.
But it raises a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You know, like leaving it that late. She was either going to be with someone or she would have been humiliated. She might not have even gone at that point. But overall, this book was amazing.
Yeah, every page. It was just funny. I just couldn't stop laughing when I was reading it.
It was so good.
So happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yes, happy Valentine's. We know it's a little early, but we are we're a week ahead because that's where twins fell.
Yeah. I think our next we haven't got a romantic Valentine's week one. We've got Runaway.
The opposite. Well, she does run away with someone.
Yeah.
So, maybe.
So, yeah, that's our Kelly's Roadhouse episode next week, Runaway.
Yeah.
And our next Casey's episode is Keeping Secrets, book number 12.
It's the language one.
Apparently it's about a secret language.
Ned's secret language that he took an entire book to tell us.
This book sounds awful.
Like, I know, I'm just waiting for the right moment to tell you.
So our last Casey's episode was Buried Treasure.
It was. Another good one, actually. I enjoyed Buried Treasure.
Yeah. Well, Plain Waffle enjoyed it as well. She said, great episode as always, and you get bonus points for mentioning the tacky but amazing soap that was Sunset Beach. I bloody loved watching that each day on Channel 5. I can't remember why we went... Oh, I think like Jessica and I are watching a soap called Love and Lace.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It sounded like Sunset Beach.
Yeah.
And Jodie Char says, in regards to Julie and Peter, in Sweet Valley High, Peter DeHaven is a major arrogant prick. And Julie's older sister is in love with him. Way to keep it in the family, DeHaven. She also says Elizabeth's slogan sounds like an Allstate car insurance commercial. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Oh, that's true, actually. It kind of does, yeah. Yeah, it was.
And she doesn't think we ever hear about the Disneyland trip again. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And my favourite thing that we got, Lippy Lupton, sent us a photo of her in a Fat Willie's t-shirt.
They exist. We didn't make it up.
And the shop still exists. There's still a shop in Newquay.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Imagine how far their sales must have dropped since the 90s.
If anybody's going to Newquay, can you please get in touch and we will send you the money to get us some t-shirts.
Yeah, we want to unironically wear Fat Willie's t-shirts.
In fact, I think my auntie might be going to Newquay.
We should give her some money and make that happen.
I want a Fat Willie's top.
So do I.
I want a bum bag, a Fat Willie's bum bag.
Oh, yeah.
Or fanny packs,
I got really excited earlier. We went book shopping.
Oh my God, we did.
And on the way back, I saw someone with a beanie, a Fat Willie's beanie, and I turned to you. I was so happy.
So,
she probably thought it was mental because I looked at her and I just looked at you. I was like, oh my God.
So thank you for that photo. It made us really, really happy.
Yeah, it did. It was fantastic.
And that's it for this week, I think.
Yes. Happy Valentine's Day, a week early. But yeah, thank you for listening, everybody, as always, and thanks for the comments. Keep them coming in.
And yeah, follow us on Instagram, Kelly's Roadhouse, and on Facebook, we are Kelly's Roadhouse Podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening, everyone. Catch you next week.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.